Something that they're going to have to be very worried about. Whirlwind, I think, is going to be a big threat. This is something that has been happening a little bit more often. Sam's actually going in!
Oh, and he's got first blood. The blink and the double dash is enough to grab the first kill of the game.
Of a threat to the build coming down from Sam right now. Just because he already has that tier 1 online, I think he's going to be able to hit a little harder, a little faster.
We'll see if this Nemesis can find some pressure early on in the game here. A duel happening over in the duo lane. Zapman has to airstrike away, but Pandacat solo as inbound will look to chase down the kill, but Sam for Soccer is here.
Okay.
And the ultimate is gone down onto inbound. The rocket flies through for the last bit of damage, and a couple autos is all Sam needs. Now 2-0 on the board for the Jade Dragons jungler. Things not going well on the left-hand side. Maybe you start to look towards the right, but Jade Dragons continuing to put pressure onto Zapman, onto inbound as well. Still level 4 for this Yamoja. Sanford Soccer rotates back through, does not have his ultimate up just yet, but still has plenty of damage to work in onto Zapman, who will get burned away, and Sanford Soccer is on a killing spree 5.5 minutes in.
I think there's a lot that can be said over the next 5 minutes for the Scarabs. Maybe next 10 minutes for him.
Oh, I hate that for SOT. He did 99.9% of the damage to the Greater Scorpion and loses it and might lose his life as well. It's a big Typhoon from Layers, but it's a 2-kill sweep for the Jade Dragons. This time Hurrywind rotates in and will pick up one. Feels real bad if you're a Solar Scarab.
I mean, but that's the hard part. I mean, look at this. PDM is, well, not by himself anymore, but getting aggressive, hyper-aggressive onto him, willing to dive at tier 2. Zapman has no health, hardly any mana enough to contest this purple buff.
My spider senses are starting to tingle.
That's the downside right now, is you have a good draft, but it's going to take a little while to get online, even more so because, as you highlighted, everybody has fallen behind in terms of where they are.
Oh, no.
Look, if your support's traveling like that in the jungle, you're absolutely feeling yourselves. This is a point, again, maybe even a turning point, to just dig your heels in as the Scarabs. At this point, you need more farm than you need fights. The problem is the Dragons aren't really giving you the choice. Is dangerous because you're one bad stun, one bad engage away from virtually getting killed off.
Oh man, big burst damage from Hurrywind to engage, force Baronic and inbound out of this fight. No chance for Layers. Not when PBM is going to leap in, but Layers looking like he'll be able to survive. But SOT rounds the backside, grabs the kill on a Sanford Soccer. That's a shutdown onto the Nemesis as the rest of the Jade Dragons grouped up here. Zapman pouring out damage from the backline, but Fineokay has had enough. It's a double kill for the Gilgamesh, a drop kick against the wall, and now Solo Lane starting to get unchained as well.
Granted, I mean, everything I'm talking about is very risky business if they decide to get in there, but I feel like risky business is about to be all they have left.
SOT's been kicked by the wayside here as the Tier 2 tower siege continues for the Jade Dragons. Bit of a duel over on the left-hand side of the map as Sanford Soccer wants to get aggressive.
I wonder if that did, like, perfect damage to kill me.
On to Zapman. Let's see if those crits ring true, and they sure do for Sanford Soccer. Zapman goes bye-bye, and in I think one purchase score. I didn't even see the 1-2 tier item pop up in the shop. I think he just straight up bought it. And now that 20% chance has gotten a little bit higher. Inbound throws up the River's Rebuke, but no matter as PBM chops him down. Pandacat uses the Aegis, but Layers will pick up the kill there. And now the re-engage from the Jade Dragons is swift. It's a double kill for the support of the Jade Dragons. PBM 306.
And now still chasing them down. It doesn't matter if you get SOT or Baronic here. Look at the pressure they should be able to get on the tier 2. Last tower standing for the Scarabs, by the way. 17 minutes in.
Without a Fire Giant.
Looking to go down. I mean, this is something that is, deadly. Without a Fire Giant being taken, this is that moment where I typically would have said and would have expected to see a team back off for a Fire Giant. They might actually be overextending here on the Dragon.
Wow, look at Sam. He's feeling confident, huh? That's been the name of the game for the Jade Dragons. Sam really just buys some space there with 2 waves of fire minions behind him. 5-1-1 for the Nemesis right now. Solar Scarabs fully reinforced under this left side. Phoenix Zapman channeling his back. So maybe now the Jade Dragons go because it's going to take a minute for the Jingwei to get back, and inbound traps himself in the River's Rebuke, but is able to walk away thanks to the Riptide. Fineokay chases down the Yamoja. Layers loses the 1v1 to Sanford Soccer, but makes his way alive back into the fountain. It's SOT, the last Solar Scarab left standing beneath the left side. Phoenix, who let out a roar, and the Jade Dragons look to continue on.
Oh, SOT's just melted. That Phoenix is still gone. Fire minions from mid coming in, and they still have, 2 minutes, 15 seconds on the Fire Giant? I feel like you do not do anything but go for the Titan.
Yeah, Zapman, Baronic, you got the damage online. Layers is there as well, but you've got no front line. Layers finds his way into the back, but the Jade Dragons have all eyes on the Titan. This one, all Dragons, all day. And in 20 minutes and 28 seconds, Gore, the Jade Dragons will find themselves in control of game number 1. Not particularly close. Damn, good memory by me. You said it like 12 seconds ago, so I should remember that. But I think clearly showing how much damage those minions can do if given the opportunity. Fineokay has to impale this Uller away. Zapman hits the stun from range. Inbound needs a little bit more, but instead Zapman's got it. And that is what this lane was built to do. A Hercules and an Uller brought together. Agreed. I want to see what happens over in the solo lane, Gore, as this game goes on. We're not going to get a chance to look over there, though, as Layers barely makes it up into the sky. From the mid lane through space and time, flies through, and Inbound flies up. Hurrywind picks up the first return kill of the game, and the Jade Dragons now on the board. And that was dangerously close to being a 2-kill swing.
It's kind of frightening to take the Greater Scorpion here, because you take the Scorpion, if you lose a fight, you're out.
Could be a fight around the purple buff here. Sam for Soccer and Hurrywind make their way from the mid lane. Zapman will leap away. He uses the beads, but he'll survive. Now Fineokay being dove beneath the tier 1 tower over on the right-hand side. SOT doesn't have the damage as Fineokay lets out a roar, and the King Arthur chops down Cucullin.
Fineokay is about 4 kills away, if you can find him here, from getting his 1,000th career kill.
Oh,
that's a
big number.
Monumental. Yeah, Zapman, I will, not to belittle Fineokay here, Zapman's about 30 or so away from potentially getting his 2,000.
That they're in those spots, PBM. But the Gold Fury is the big one in the early game to stabilize that lead if you're the Jade Dragons, if you're able to get in, steal that away. But it looks like the opposite. It looks like the Solar Scarabs are going to continue pushing the advantage, and Bobby drops the boulder. Layers drops down, gets a kill on the Fineokay as well, and the duo lane for the Dragons is off the map.
I mean, night and day, right? This is exactly what was being done to the Scarabs. Granted, maybe one more kill earlier on for the Dragons, but the Scarabs have been able to take the reins of this game from the get-go, and they are controlling it. They get that Gold Fury, like you said, open-ended as to whether or not the conversation can be had to who's going to be able to make a bigger splash for them. I'm liking it. Look, the Scarabs front line right now looks really good. I wish we could see, for me, I just want more fights, but that is something that I think both of these teams want to slow down on.
Inbound wants some more fighting as well. He'll blink over the wall beneath the tier 2 tower. The Aegis, perfect from Fineokay, but is it enough? No, it is not. Zapman guns him down nonetheless. PBM will transform. Bye-bye. Zapman double kill over in the duo lane. That one brought to you for free by Inbound.
I mean, I love the fact, it's like he was listening to me. I call it out, he goes in.
Minute and a half at most. Pyromancer gets taken down by the Solar Scarabs. Still would be very early on and not a crazy enough lead for the Solar Scarabs to go all in, maybe, on this Oni Fury. Instead, they're going all in for where
have a great time.
They thought was Fineokay. And the back will be successful. Look, Gore, I think you have to admire the attempt there. A little bit wide. You're hoping that Fineokay's backing in the middle of the lane there. Instead, he's a bit further out.
You got to keep it 100%. Right now, at least for the Dragons, the way they're playing this, especially with the Scarabs starting this up, it's to play defense. It's to stop the pressure on the left side Phoenix.
We'll see how much damage that man can do to this FG. About half of its health is the answer, but here comes the fight from the Solar Scarabs. It's a dunk down from Layers, and it's an immediate kill onto Fineokay. A perfect target now for this Scarabs team. SOT will dash away from the fight. Inbound underneath the tier 2 tower. He'll survive somehow, and now Fineokay given a chance to turn this fight around as a volley of damage flies in from the backline. Sam for Soccer deleted by Zapman. This Uller worth his weight in gold. It's a double kill from Zapman, and the Solar Scarabs win another one.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the Zuler, and I think that's what Zapman's showing off here. 5-0. Number 4 on the damage charts, just barely behind the solo laners in the mid.
4-level lead he has over PBM. His mistake has been, I'm going to blink it and miss a pull, and then turn around and walk away. He hasn't been punished for missing any of those big committal engages so far. It feels like on this Hercules, going to be difficult to survive this siege when Zapman is chipping away at the Phoenix the way he is, unless you can find a big chain CC like that, and the Jade Dragons find Zapman with a 1-2-3 punch of crowd control. Now over in the mid lane, Sam for Soccer has to leave, but SOT says no way, the DOT will get that one done. But look at the health bars of the Jade Dragons. Gore certainly not healthy in the back line.
And now it's going to be up. Layers is on this guy, but they're going to go back in onto Hurrywind.
Baronic left alone outside of the wall here. Fineokay should chase this one down with the portal. Keeps Baronic alive, and Inbound once again drops the boulder. This time onto the Jade Dragons mid laner. Fineokay finally will pick up the kill with the assist of the mid lane Phoenix there. And now the Solar Scarabs down to 2 inside of the base of the Jade Dragons. Inbound left alone here with 3 of the Solar Scarabs, unless someone steps on that door panel. Well, it gets opened up for Inbound there, and plenty tanky enough is this Hercules. So it is a Phoenix siege repelled by the Jade Dragons.
It takes a little longer for him to disengage, but they get the 2 important members, right? Fire Giant left on, admittedly, the front lines. Feels nice in the sense that they can sustain up. I don't think Inbound was ever worried about getting out there, but capabilities.
Look at this. The Jade Dragons send the Tiamat minions down the left-hand side. They were attempting to set up a trap, see which member of the Solar Scarabs rotated over to deal with the minions, but nobody did. And in exchange, the Solar Scarabs send everyone over to the right. What type of a call the Jade Dragons make here? They're looking towards the Tier 2 tower as the Fire Giant is respawning. Fineokay channeling his back here. Layers is as well. And it looks like that's maybe slowed down the Fire Giant, but not completely stopped it. Zapman is still here with Inbound. There's plenty of damage between those two to get this one done, especially with SOT playing Separator. PBM might have to just try to weave in a hammer at some type of steal, but SOT doing so much damage, Gore. Looks like this one goes for free to the Scarabs.
It's something, I like the way the Dragons tried to play that, at least get the Fakies, see if they can pull back more than 2 members, but there's no need to. If you're the Scarabs, you've got such a lead right now, and you deal with that wave pretty handily. So the Dragons are going to go for this defense once again to see if they can find it around the Phoenixes.
Ryuin sends his minions down the right-hand side, so that is at least one lane that the Dragons don't have to worry about for a little while. Instead, the left side has got to be where all the concerns are. Inbound blinks in, looks for the engage, gets dispelled by the rest of the Jade Dragons. As the minions continue to work down right. Looks like maybe a Tier 2 tower goes down under the threat of the waves pushing out from the Jade Dragons over there. So the Solar Scarabs looking to make their move on the other side of the map here. Inbound looking for the pull yet again, but comes up just short this time. Pillar goes up from Fineokay. And Zapman's got to be cautious this time. You got to imagine the last Phoenix Siege goes better if that chain of CC doesn't connect onto the Uller, but over in the mid lane, Sanford Soccer and Layers dueling out. Typhoon flies through, Layers up into the sky, looking for the drop down, and he's got it. The 1v1 in mid could go over to Layers, and Layers has got it.
That's one of those awkward choices where you either have to turn around and hope for the best if you're Sam. I think cooldown's not opting to be in his favor, whereas Layers getting a little bit more of an edge on that one. Gets to maintain his life, still low in terms of health, but Fire Giant Sustain should help with that. But that's now free pressure that he has in mid.
Sure is. As Fineokay down to half HP. Inbound gets chipped away at as well. Update on the right-hand side. Tier 2 tower still standing. No threat there against the Solar Scarabs. Finally, the left side Phoenix will go down. And the rest of the Solar Scarabs working into the base of the Jade Dragons. 30 seconds left without Sanford Soccer, but the health bars are low. Half HP on most of the Solar Scarabs members. And the Jade Dragons can maybe take advantage of that. SOT left alone here, attempting to escape. And the Solar Scarabs will take left Phoenix, mid Phoenix, and get out alive.
There's no Oni Fury. There's no Pyromancer. No Fire.
They were just kicking our feet up.
Where do I go? What do I do? And I guess
they want to fight! They want to fight! Layers up into the ultimate. Will not dunk down onto anyone, but he is in the back line. He has found Fineokay, who uses the Aegis, and the Aegis will keep the On Her alive just a little bit longer, but the damage is there, and Fineokay will survive the onslaught. Inbound quite low here. SOT stunned against the wall, uses the beads. Fineokay had been left alone in the back line, gets pulled back in by Inbound, but Fineokay survives. Fineokay turns it around and finally gets the kill, and the solo laner of the Dragons goes down as well. Oh, no. This is a big fight for the Jade Dragons, surging down the left-hand side.
Layers is low, Zap is low, Inbound. Look, he might have a lot of health. That Shield of Regrowth is going to be putting in a lot of work for him over the next little bit, but if they can close the gap, it doesn't look like they'll be able to. The Dragons at least give themselves a lot of space. Could be a pretty easy Tier 2, but I'm a little worried about the follow-up, specifically what the Scarabs are going to do. I don't want them to get too overzealous.
Sanford Soccer making the decision, saving our left side Phoenix as it respawns against the Fire Minions. More important than being on the right-hand side. Frenzy gets popped here. Zapman gets popped here. Layers nearly dies as well. Inbound turns tail. Baronic goes back through on the back line, and it's a double kill now for Fineokay. It is 1 minute death timers for 3 members of the Solar Scarabs.
I mean, look, you're probably going to lose your mid Phoenix again thanks to Fire Minions.
Inbound.
If I'm looking at it, well, Inbound, if he gets aggressive.
They're going to get it anyway, right?
I mean, you're going to, but now is this a good fight, bad fight? Ooh. He might actually be able to kill Sam here with the proper minions and damage the boulder. Not on the mark, but I don't know if you run into the base here.
Look at the Jade Dragons reply, though, Goremizer. It's the right side.
They're going to get a Phoenix.
The right side Tier 2 gets looked at. PBM de-transforms back in a normal old Fafnir. Fineokay is with this team. It is still 20 seconds on the respawn timers for 3 members of the Solar Scarabs. Layers is back. Inbound is back as well. The Phoenix gets taken down by the Jade Dragons as the Tiamat minions providing some support here. It's a double push back from Inbound. PBM throws a hammer by the wayside, and the Jade Dragons are in onto the Titan, and the Titan is melting quickly. The Jade Dragons have found their opening. The Jade Dragons are looking for it, but Layers has gotten the kill on the Fineokay. The best target he could have found. PBM gets melted down on the back. Inbound's got one as well. The Jade Dragons are falling. The respawns are in, and the Solar Scarabs stay alive.
Look at Sam, though. look at Sam. He's hovering around in the jungle. He's got some minions over here on right. Like, this is a very essential moment. That Titan is low. Is it low enough for him to kill? I have no idea, but watch the through space and time. The Scarabs know what their goal is, and they're trying to get into the base soon.
This is the only chance the Dragons have at winning this game is Sam for Soccer going into the base and killing the Titan before the Solar Scarabs are able to do so. 4 members of the Solar Scarabs into the mid lane. Sam for Soccer and Layers dueling it out over here in the Solar Scarabs base. Sam for Soccer sends the Typhoon in onto the Titan. He's dealing enough damage, but he dashes away. Layers has got the kill, and the Solar Scarabs got the win in game number 2.
What a way to give me a heart attack there. Both of these teams, I don't understand. I don't know where he's going. I love that he goes in. That ult, not quite enough damage for him. But I like the play from Sam. Like, if you're going to go for it, they're going to go all in on that one. But the Scarabs look throughout this game. So I expect to see some pressure from Layers. But they both transition in different ways to the late game. I'm excited to see what Sam's going to be able to do, even if they get aggressive or not, because that's going to be like the big question mark, right? If you want to, there's a lot of potential.
PBM gets stunned out here, and a wall from inbound to keep a wall from PBM, excuse me. I'm thinking that's inbound's wall. A wall from PBM to lock himself in place there, I guess. The Solar Scarabs make no mistake about that one, and first blood goes on over to the jungler.
It's those team fights that are going to be such a pain when they get together, because looking at the draft style and the way they're playing so far, again, it's all this Hercules.
Mike blinks in, throws up the wall. Baronic through his own portal. Look at the damage from Sam for Soccer, but through space and time, right on through the Thanatos. Sam for Soccer will hovering death his way away from this engagement. The Solar Scarabs, they get surprised there, Gore, by PBM, but the swift reply to nearly grab a kill onto the Jade Dragons jungler, very impressive.
I like the way they're playing. Again, good style. Weirdly enough, using PBM's walls to their advantage more often than not. PandaCat's coming to the lane. He's going to look for a solo onto Zap.
Whoa, Zapman doesn't leap that far away, and PandaCat's got the 1v1, and he'll taunt right in place there. There is something just so humorous about watching that rocket just kind of like weave its way on in, and then Don Zaburo leaps on out, grabs the 1v1 up against Zapman. Now PandaCat finds himself 2-0, 1 level ahead of Zap.
And they're just kind of meandering through the game, right? And I do think that there's a transition. Thanatos is my favorite just because watching what he can do later on. Right now, it's a lot of damage.
Whoa!
Akin to that.
There goes half of Layers' HP. Baronic with the big blast from the mid lane. And Sam for Soccer goes down. Mike will wall off 2. Definitely can catch you off guard here. Bit of a wave freeze going on. Solar Scarabs will slowly push up. Purple buff is now respawning. Remember, we saw a big fight that went the Solar Scarabs' way underneath their own purple buff just a moment ago. PBM is going to get stunned on back, but now inbound taking way too much damage. Through space and time splits the uprights, and now PandaCat on a killing spree.
And finding himself a good one. Going into the rocket even. They want to get aggressive on the Zap.
And PandaCat right back into it. Zapman will leap away. PBM blinks forward. Wall. Low on cooldown, you have to imagine. Very close to being up. But PBM hadn't found the range that he was happy with. Soul is here as well as PandaCat. So this tier 1 tower over on the left could fall quickly, and look at the damage that's being poured into it. Solar Scarabs can't say much about it.
Yeah, it's something I didn't start thinking about until pretty much right now. Soul plus carry, I mean, a hunter technically in this case. That's a lot of damage to your structures. I mean, towers, Phoenix's, objectives in general going to go down pretty quickly. But that's the problem right now. Last game, they had way more control over everything. They've still been winning a lot of good fights. I do still think they're dictating some of the pace of these team fights, but objectives after the matter they need to be important.
The blue buff fight happening now, I thought, as Sam for Soccer evaporates under the damage that Layers and SOT bring to the table. Fineokay pushed by the wayside here. A little bit tankier than Sam for Soccer, so you think, but it's a tier 1 tower dive through space and time, no good. If that one connects, you have to imagine the Scarabs team keeps going. Instead, it's a return blue buff invade, but now that inbound is here, things might remain interesting. Could just be buying some space for his teammates to work on over towards the blue buff, which is secured indeed. But now there's a stun from PBM onto Layers, who will back kick his way away, and inbound will dash away as well.
And died a lot faster there for Sam. I think that damage is going to be dangerous if you're PBM, if you're Fineokay. I like the aggression. Yeah, go for it. Run him down, but is this really a fight for you? Actually, with Hurwind on his way, it might be.
Hurriwind is here, but Hurriwind's got
Panda?
next to no mana on this soul out of the mid lane, so the auto attacks are going to have to get it done now. I think literally no mana, so Hurriwind can't really say much here in this fight. PandaCat heading back towards the left-hand side. Mike will throw up the wall here as this fight kind of elongating, Gore. It's a tug of war now that the Solar Scarabs think that they might have an advantage in. PBM channels the ultimate. It looks like finally we'll have some type of disengage here as for Fineokay has maybe slowed down the Solar Scarabs on the left-hand side, or so I think. Now PBM being looked at in the Desert Fury would all but confirm the kills. Now Layers 4-0-2 here in this all-important best of 3 on the backline. Hurrywin being run down. SOT will miss the up-down as Hurrywin makes his way beneath his own Tier 2 tower. Looks like one and done for the Solar Scarabs.
I admire where SOT was trying to throw that.
No,
now
it's
put him in a position. Fineokay, where are you going to go? He jukes out every ability. They might turn this around.
Well, big value out of the Aegis as well, but Fineokay can't get it done up against all the members of the Solar Scarabs that are underneath this Tier 1 tower. Fineokay stunned up against the wall. Sanford Soccer being run down by SOT. Just needs a little bit more damage. The silence is through. Sanford Soccer will survive for the time being.
For the time being, no one else seems to be over there. Fineokay still chasing people down over here.
Fineokay.
And he's getting it done.
Fineokay. The Aegis gets used by Zapman as well. The pullback from inbound, but does that put Zapman in danger? No, it is not. And Baronic picks up a kill onto the Jade Dragon solo laner. Now level 17 for SOT Layers and Baronic. 5-0-3 for this Robin. 100% kill participation for Layers.
Or the other avenue, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this as well, a stun into, I'm going to slaughter you. I've got this Hydra's online as well. I'm going to throw my scythe, smack you down with it, and then I'll get the kill in the shield.
Maybe a bit of a fight happening here. Fineokay does not ride the rocket into the fight, but Sanford and Layers in a 1v1, and Sanford Soccer stood no chance at all. Through space and time, doesn't connect onto anyone. Watch out inbound, half HP on the tank. The kiting backwards working wonders now for the Jade Dragons as they've been able to peel about half of everyone's health bar. Baronic kiting back better. It's a killing spree for the Giannis out of the mid lane, and the Solar Scarabs will find 2.
You know, Dave, I've been preparing. I've been looking at a lot of milestones, right? I've thrown out games, wins, kills, assists. I think even for Benji, I threw out Ward's Place, but I have to give this one. Layers just got the 1,000th death there on to Sanford Soccer. Yeah, give him some claps. Good for Layers.
We said we wanted it to happen.
Not so good for Sam. 1,000 deaths now there in his career.
Where it's not the end-all be-all. I mean, if you go down 0-2, that was the same threat that the Leviathans faced today, and they came up big in our first set of the day. Now it's the threat that the Jade Dragons are facing, and it is a very real threat. This one palpable as the Solar Scarabs in control of this pivotal Game 3, and Inbound wants to fight now. He will blink forward. Fineokay exchanges back. He's found Zapman in the backline. Now the On-Her has to leap away. Frenzy gets used here. That's left SOT alone. Then the health bar. Where did it go? Could there be an execute here from Sanford Soccer? The dunk lurking in the backline, and there's your Bloodforge Sanford Soccer. First kill of the fight.
And hightails it out of there. I was wondering, is he going to turn around, try to fight Zap, Baronic? There's a lot of targets, theoretically, for him to fight. He's level 20 now. He could do something, but I like the one and done. Get in 45 seconds without having to deal with SOT. Can you survive long enough to get it done?
Well, if Layers is left alone with any of the carries of the Jade Dragons, they, I think, can kiss their life goodbye. 6-0-4 for Layers. Still 100% kill participation here in Game 3. The, quote, console jungler absolutely showing up against some of the best in the league, and the Solar Scarabs putting their name in that column. They believe they belong in that conversation, but the Jade Dragons will hear none of it. Fineokay has opened up this fight with an opening kill, and SOT answers back onto the Jade Dragons carry. There's a stun from Sanford Soccer onto Baronic, and the Aegis gets used, but Sanford Soccer has the big burst damage. Hurrywin, alternate timeline. Oh, no, this one doesn't help him out. He just gets killed twice, but SOT melted through. Double kill for Sanford Soccer. Thanatos, hello, 30 minutes in.
That's one more. Okay, 2 more, maybe 3 more. There it is. Finally, someone's going to be able to get the hit. Zapman hightails it out of there. Manages to stay alive, but Fire Giant, look, this would be great, but it feels almost, well, I guess if you take 30-plus seconds to get down, it's not going to be that bad for you, but Dave, the 2 best members for you to have a Fire Giant on are dead right now. You're going to have to hold it as low as you can and safely. With Zapman out of the equation, look, it's 10 seconds before inbound's even back. I don't think they're too stressed about it, but the Dragons are definitely going to have to kite this one and dance it the right way to make sure they don't get wiped.
Fineokay, 4 seconds away. This is enhanced 45 seconds ago.
Became
enhanced.
Wait the 10 seconds for Hurry. Come on.
Yeah, do you wait 10 seconds for Hurry? I suppose you do. They're going to get it very close. Right, you've waited this long at least.
Might as well
and
continue.
So 5 seconds away, Hurrywin will be back, and he'll grab himself the enhanced fire giant. And the last bit of damage comes through, and the Jade Dragons in 31 minutes win a big fight, and they grab themselves EFG.
Double bonus. Everybody gets it. 2 carries. The guys that shred the towers already enough feel better. This is where I think their best bet's going to be, right? Inbound is in a good position. 1 pluck and pull someone back, especially if it's Panda Cat, Hurry, Sam. That's going to be an easy kill for you. Honestly, even if it's Fineokay, I think you have a decent shot at being able to at least find some lockdown, but it's not going to be enough there. Now they're precariously perched is the way I would describe this. You've got a good chance of defense on this Phoenix, but they've got a minute and a half to try and siege it down.
What a turn this game has taken. Jade Dragons down in gold, down in kills, up in map pressure, into the backline. Fineokay has found Zap Man. Down goes Zap after the Aegis wears out. Panda Cat gets SOT as well. The Jade Dragons will hear nothing of this upset. The Solar Scarabs, they win game 2. They push us to a game 3, but in all likelihood, the Jade Dragons will take this set here in just a moment. Barana cannot participate any longer, and the Jade Dragons make their way into the Titan room and right back into the win column.
Man, such a good start for them, too. Just a couple of fights that end up going not their way, and ultimately at the end of it, it's that execute.